Hello, this is Bill Steffen. I'm out in the man cave, and I think this is the first TV show I've ever done or internet show where I'm wearing just a t-shirt out on the three-season porch out here. The temperature is currently, I see 76 degrees, so on the warm side. And I must caution you that we have two of the three cats, at least two of the three cats out here, and they've been making some noise. They've been kind of chasing each other here. So if you hear something that's not me, it's probably a cat. Well, today is a famous anniversary. It's the anniversary of the Kalamazoo tornado, May 13th, 1980. So that was, 45 years ago. And that is a picture of downtown Kalamazoo. It's one of the few tornadoes that has really gone through a downtown area. And in fact, it was so important to the meteorological community that Theodore Fujita himself from the Fujita scale came up from Chicago to look at the damage here and to personally rate the tornado. So this was really an interesting event. The Kalamazoo tornado occurred on a Tuesday. It was 4:09 in the afternoon, so it was right after where the kids would normally get out of school. It hit the downtown area. There was an 11-mile path, and the speed of the tornado moving through downtown was about 41 miles an hour. It was rated F3. We didn't have the EF scale back then. We had the enhanced Fujita scale. We just had the Fujita scale. And that came out at winds of over 150 miles an hour. So this was a very significant tornado. We haven't had a tornado that strong since that time in West Michigan. Some other information for you about the Kalamazoo tornado. There were 5 fatalities, 79 were injured, and those are people that were actually treated. There were doctors and nurses that treated people on the scene that never really got into the log there. Damage totaled $50 million. That would be about $2 billion today. So this was really a significant tornado. The ISB Bank building had all the windows blown out. It knocked down all these big, beautiful trees in Bronson Park. There were damage to vehicles alone was nearly $2 million. So this was something else. There were 263 homes and 116 businesses that were destroyed or severely damaged. And an interesting note, I was working that day, and of course, I did the morning shift back at WCCM in 1980. Craig James did the evening shift. I stayed through the afternoon because we anticipated that there would be severe weather, and Craig came in early. I hand plotted a map right before the tornado hit, and I remember remarking to Craig that this seemed just like a scenario where there was a tornado where we did a case study at one of our conventions. We go to meteorological conventions, and they once in a while will do a case study where they give you pieces of information and you have to make the forecast. What are you looking at? Would you issue a tornado warning for here? Would you issue a watch? On this particular day, there was a tornado watch issued for southern Michigan at 1:30 in the afternoon. So if you were paying attention, you had an idea that we could have some severe weather in the area. This tornado moved from west to east right through the area here. There was initially some wind damage from the storm in Van Buren County, and there was a report of a funnel about an hour earlier in Van Buren County. There was a warm front or a stationary front between Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids. Temperatures reached the 70s in Kalamazoo. At the same time, it was only in the 50s up in the Grand Rapids area and from here to the north. So a very interesting day, Kalamazoo tornado 45 years ago today. Interesting. If you'd like to learn more about the Kalamazoo tornado, there's a couple places you can go. The Kalamazoo Valley Museum. Just remember Kalamazoo Valley Museum, and you can take a look at the information they have there. 1980kalamazootornado.org. Also, if you go to YouTube, Wood TV, and I believe the other TV stations in town have done specials on the tornado where you can see video and slides and talk to some of the eyewitnesses in that particular tornado. And it was an amazing day. What did I work? 18, 19, 20 hours that day. And in fact, WCCM went and got a helicopter and made it down to Kalamazoo and came back and got, I believe, was it film or video in 1980? I think we were probably using both at the time. But the TV stations covered it well. I think the politicians did well. The governor came to visit. Jimmy Carter would have been president. He declared the disaster area very quickly. so we could get more aid in. And there were a lot of private organizations that helped out too. I got to mention that St. Augustine's school there let out early because of the possibility of tornadoes. That school was heavily damaged by the storm that rolled right through the downtown area. All right, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back to talk about our chances for severe weather here on Thursday. Take a listen.
Need a fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service? Complete Care Concierge has you covered. Serving all of West Michigan, we offer one-time, daily, weekly, and bi-weekly cleans, plus move in, move out. We also service apartment hallways and laundry rooms. Our work is guaranteed, gift cards are available, and we even clean on weekends. There's no better way to say I love you than giving a tired mom a break from dishes and laundry. Are you a busy professional? Pamper yourself by taking vacuuming and dusting off your plate. Office manager, keep your business looking and feeling its very best. Call 616-264-1397 today for a spotless space and total peace of mind.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Those phone numbers go by pretty quick, but if you remember Complete Care Concierge, they're local here in the Grand Rapids area, and Ace Handyman Hardware. And they have a website there where you can check out what they can do for you. All right, this is kind of interesting. We have a little bit of a lull in severe weather going on right now. We get more severe weather in May than any other month, or at least more tornadoes in the United States, and more tornadoes in the United States than anywhere else on Earth. But there were no tornadoes yesterday, and that is good news. There were only 2 severe hail reports and no reports of any real hail damage. Both of those hail reports were down in southeastern Tennessee there. The most damage from wind was mainly just tree damage, but about 10% of Meigs County, Tennessee was without power the last I checked. And there was one severe weather report, as you can see, up in Montana, but everything else kind of in the southeast there. But there will be more severe weather here coming up later on this week. And that's what we're talking about. First of all, today, kind of a quiet day here in West Michigan. The severe weather outlook map for today. There are 2 large areas where thunderstorms are possible, but it's light green and not dark green. So we're not anticipating any organized severe weather today, though I would assume there'll be a couple of reports somewhere where there's a tree down somewhere. Chance of a thundershower in the light green areas. And that does come up in the southern lower Michigan. So do not be surprised in the late afternoon or evening if you hear a distant rumble of thunder here. And there'll be some thunder showers out west from that western system. It's always interesting to see when there's thunderstorm activity throughout the Rockies. That's a pretty good system. And if that can tap Gulf moisture when it comes out into the plain states, then it can produce some severe weather. And that's what we're looking for here on Thursday. The Thursday severe weather threat from the Storm Prediction Center is right over us. So we take a look at Thursday's map, and we'll be able to show you that we've got activity developing out toward the Mississippi River, and then that will be moving toward the east, toward southern Michigan. If we can take a look at that next map here, we'll be able to show you that in the yellow color, that is a slight risk area. That is level 2, and at this point, the Storm Prediction Center says the intensifying nature of the synoptic low-pressure system suggests that a widespread severe weather event is possible. Now, that's possible and not probable. This will be updated probably around 5 in the, maybe closer to 4 in the morning, or even a little earlier than that. I'm debating whether I should stay up, and I get so interested in this stuff. It's kind of hard to sleep. But being an old man, I tend to wake up at night sometimes. So you run to the computer and you see what the update is, and I will update that as soon as I am awake and able to do that. But you can see this severe weather threat area covers a good portion of southwest lower Michigan, all of Indiana, and large sections of Wisconsin, Illinois, and western Ohio. So keep an eye out, maybe put a little asterisk there on the calendar that at some point late Thursday afternoon through early Thursday night, we could be seeing some pretty good thunderstorms rolling through West Michigan and much of the southern Great Lakes area. All right, we'll move on here. Take a look at our headlines. Chance of a shower today and Wednesday. Much of the time, it will not be raining. So if you got a golf league, a softball league, got some shopping to do, you may be able to get it done. The chance of rain in any one spot today is just about 50-50. So you may get through the day without any rain, or you may catch a shower, a thunder shower. There'll be more rain in the afternoon, late afternoon than there will be during the morning. Not impossible that a shower could form along a lake breeze that could develop, because the inland winds are going to be fairly light. And that means that there will be a lake breeze kicking in. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. And then there is that chance of a thunderstorm here on Thursday. This is interesting here. Take a look at this. The 2 o'clock temperatures. Look at the difference the lake makes. The general wind was southeast, but the lake breeze was strong enough to overcome that right near the lake. And there, I'm sure, right along the lakeshore, there was a pretty healthy dividing line between the cooler air off the lake and the warmer air inland. 2 o'clock, the Holland Airport, 83 degrees, but at the very same moment, the Holland Beach, 66. So it was warmer than yesterday at the beach, but 66 is pretty cool. Muskegon, 81 at the airport, not too far inland from the lake, and the Muskegon Pier at the same time reporting a temperature of 65. And up in the UP, look at this. Now, Munising is on Lake Superior, and the lake breeze did not kick in there. They had a south wind where they get some downslope warming, and they were 86 degrees. I believe that was warmer than they got all last May. And then Manistee, with a south wind coming down the full length of Lake Michigan, was 56. So that's a 30-degree difference. And you would get warmer as you went north from Manistee to Munising. Now, can you imagine you're here in Grand Rapids and the temperature is 81. You're going, hey, let's go to Lake Michigan. And you get there, and it's in the mid-60s with a pretty healthy wind off the lake. And you're going, oh, so much for swimming today, that's for sure. Water temperature did make it up to 50 at Muskegon State Park this afternoon. The mid-lake temperature is still hanging around 41 and a half. Inland, Reeds Lake, water temperature was 61 at daybreak, and it rose to about 65 during the afternoon. Okay, then, by the way, it's a picture there from the channel. Here's the tulips in Centennial Park. I want to point out again that the tulips, the blossoms in Holland are looking outstanding. You don't have the crowds this week, so if you got some time, head over, maybe check out some of the shops there, get a bite to eat, and enjoy the scenery in the Holland area. Windmill Island, a nice place to head, and the tulip gardens, the tulip lanes, by the way, which there are several of them in Holland, where they plant tulips all the way along the side of the street there. So that's fun to see. Temperature there should be about 75 for a high during the afternoon. But like I said, the lake breeze could kick in and knock the temperature back down into the 60s. So beware of that if you're going to be heading to the lakeshore. Okay, let's take a look at 66-hour rainfall. That huge glob of heavy rain. Yellow is 1.5 inches of rain, and red is up to 3 inches. That's mostly orange and yellow there, but we've been able to watch that area of yellow start out in Texas and New Mexico, really, and rotate down through the Gulf. Now it's coming northeast up the East Coast. And again, this is rainfall we expect between now and Thursday noon or thereabouts. And you can see the next system out west. It's got a lot of rain with it for the mountainous areas out there. Look at the rain in California through the mountains, and snow at the higher elevations. There could be a light shower or sprinkle even in the hills east of San Diego and Los Angeles. So a lot going on across the map. 2 systems, and that second system out in the Rockies is the one that's heading towards us here for later on in the week. Snow. Well, first of all, let's take a look at the rain here for our area here. You can see the darker green is 1/2 inch of rain. That would be down toward Kalamazoo. Up toward Grand Rapids, maybe 1/4 inch, and this is 3 days combined. And then up toward Ludington, only about 1/10 inch. So most everybody should be seeing at least a little bit of rain here. There will be a few deluges where there's probably more than 1/2 inch, but this will not be a rain that would produce any flooding. And most of the river levels are down a little bit because we've been on the dry side. Now let's take a look at snow out west, and there's still a concentration of snow in Idaho and Yellowstone National Park up into southern Montana, that Beartooth Highway still is not open. They've been trying to clear some of the snow so they can get that open. That's the last I heard. All right, and I got a picture to show you from Glacier National Park. So take a look at this, Glacier National Park, and we'll be able to see that the snow in Glacier National Park is looking pretty deep at this point in time. If we can go to the next slide, please. And there it is, right there. There we go. We've got the lake. And I was out there last summer. This is Logan Pass. This is on the Going to the Sun Highway in Glacier National Park. Deep snowpack out there yet. And that's a chilly place today. We were out there. I think the temperature was 48 or 49. But a beautiful road. I'm glad I wasn't driving. If you are driving, you don't look at the scenery, you watch the road, because there's a big drop off on the right side. And that was an interesting place to be. But that was Glacier National Park, the way it looked yesterday. And it still looks like midwinter there. All right, let's move on. Take a look at today's weather. 76 degrees, the high temperature here for today. There'll be a chance of a shower. 61, the low temperature during the early morning. Humidity will be higher. Humidity was down around 35-40% here Monday afternoon. That's up to 70% this afternoon, and that will you'll notice the difference. Southeast wind 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that will be light enough that I think the lake breeze will come in from the west or southwest in the afternoon. So lakeshore areas, instead of being 76 all afternoon, will likely fall back at least into the low to mid 60s there. A look at some of the high temperatures across the area today. We're starting out with readings in the mid 70s, but look at South Haven. Okay, the high temperature expected to be 62 in downtown South Haven with the wind off the lake. You can see surface temperatures out over Lake Michigan are only in the low 50s out there, so that's quite a difference. Okay, that's Tuesday. Wednesday should be very similar, and if we look at Wednesday's map, you'll be able to see temperatures once again. 76 Grand Rapids, 64 for South Haven, 69 for Ludington at the airport, where they were a little bit farther inland from the lake than the city of South Haven is. But you can see the temperatures in inland areas pretty much statewide are in the 70s here for both Tuesday and on Wednesday. And the outlook for Thursday, that'll be the warmest day of the week and maybe the warmest day that we'll see the whole rest of May. I expect the temperature to be up into the low to mid 80s in inland areas. The computer giving Grand Rapids 85, and that's certainly a possibility if we get full sun. 85 for Kalamazoo, 88 for both Chicago and South Bend. Temperatures look pretty mild, right? Even at the lakeshore, we may see readings up into the 70s here. So Thursday will be your hottest day of the week. And the long-range outlook out to 8 to 14 days and the 5-day forecast here for you. Chance of a shower here Tuesday and Wednesday, not an all-day rain. Chance of a storm on Thursday will be anywhere from about mid to late afternoon through the early to midnight period. That's when we'll see a chance of a thunderstorm. Right now, I've got Friday and Saturday dry, but I can't totally rule out a shower lasting into the very early part of Friday. Friday evening looks okay. And Saturday, with the cold pool overhead, there's maybe a 15% chance of a shower popping up. It will be cooler. You can see the warmest day is Thursday. Temperatures are still mild on Friday, though it may taper off just a little bit in the late afternoon. And then for Saturday, look for temperatures to be generally in the upper 60s. We'll probably be in the 60s Sunday, and with a cooler pattern shaping up for next week. We'll see a number of days in the 60s and probably some nights down in the upper 30s to around 40 here. So it's interesting. Long-range outlook, below average, 8 to 14 day. As you can see, much of the Great Lakes and Northeast seeing temperatures on the cool side. And then warmer than average throughout the southern United States. So you got warmer than average south, cooler than average north. You put that combination together and you're going to get rain in the middle. Fronts wobble back and forth and produce showers and storms. So let's take a look at the rainfall map here for the 8 to 14 day period, taking you out to May 26th. And that above is right over the southern Great Lakes area. And it's kind of interesting that orientation from southwest to northeast would be indicative of a couple of bands of thunderstorms coming through that could be on the hefty side. So we'll have to stay up on our chances for severe weather. This week, our only bet for severe weather looks like it's going to come like I said, Thursday mid-afternoon through early part of the night. And then the following week, mid part of the week, we may be seeing some stronger thunderstorms into the area here. Well, we've got lots to talk about here. First of all, I want to thank the Michigan Society of Professional Engineers. They gave me an award because I have worked with Math Counts and emceed their Math Counts competition for 37 years. We had Ellen Baca come by and take a look at what we were doing there because she may take over for me next year. But it's been really an uplifting experience working with the professional engineers. My father was a liaison engineer. My father-in-law was a chemical engineer. So I know them well, and they do some incredible things. You take a look around the room. Everything you see in that room was designed by an engineer artist, and it's really amazing what these people have been able to do and moved society forward with some of the things that they have invented with time here. Also, I want to pass along that it's very uplifting to do the Math Counts because you get to see so many kids that are doing great things. We do mainly middle school, and when you watch the news, you see what some of the bad boys are doing. But when you come to Math Counts, you see what a lot of the good boys and girls now are doing, when it comes to STEM projects and whatnot. All right, some interesting information on what happened on this date, May 13th, 1978, the first Grand Rapids Riverbank run. It was sponsored by Old Kent, which became Fifth Third Bank. I used the line that you could be second in the first Fifth Third Riverbank run. So I kind of got those in. So go forth and you'll have all of them there. Bill Rogers won the first event. He went on to win the Boston Marathon. And first race was only the 25K. There were 1,200 runners, which was a big crowd at the time. And today, more than 10,000 runners and walkers. I've done the walking. I'm getting up there now, where it would be difficult for me to do. If I ran in the race, I'd probably finish on Tuesday. That would be for sure. But they do a 5K walk, which is just about my style. But we thank all the people that are involved with Amway, with Fifth Third Bank, with Corewell Health, and all the volunteers. This event would not work without a zillion volunteers, and they just do a great job. So we salute the Riverbank Run, which of course was last Saturday. All right, something else on this date, May 13th, 1899, the schooner Nelson sinks near Grand Marais, Michigan. Schooner is a special type of sailing ship. It has more than one mast, either two or three usually. The weather, there's a northwest gale. There was freezing rain on May 13th, kind of like the weather that we had when we had the Edmund Fitzgerald sink in 1978. Tow line broke, and it's believed the shifting weight of the coal brought the ship down. There was one survivor, is all. The captain stayed on board to lower the lifeboats for the other 9 on board, but the lifeboat was dragged under. Wreck was found in Lake Superior not too long ago in the year 2014. And by the way, 1899 was an incredible year. We had the worst cold snap we've ever had in the United States. We had record heat. We had tornadoes. We had hurricanes. If they say the weather's crazy now, take a look at 1899. It was 2 below zero in February in Tallahassee, Florida. And there's pictures of people playing in the snow along the Gulf of Mexico. So interesting. All right, let's move along here. Speaking of the Gulf of Mexico, now the Gulf of America, or whatever you would like to call it, 1501, Amerigo Vespucci embarked for the Americas. He would later be the namesake for both South and North America as a continent. So we salute him. Birthdays, the famous boxer Joe Louis, 1914. Actress Bea Arthur, remember the Golden Girls, 1922, she was born. And Stevie Wonder, who's still with us, is 1 year older than me. He was born in 1950. He's, I believe, from the Chicago area, like me, if I'm not mistaken, but has turned out a lot of great music, some of which is his own, and some of which he has given and shared with others. So interesting on this day, May 13th. A lot going on here, as you can see. We'll have a lot more for you coming up here tomorrow, by the way. So hope you can join us for the latest. I think we're kind of out of slides right now. Michelle is down in Costa Rica right now, daughter number 3. is in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. The high temperature there for the second day in a row was 93. And this is an interesting note that Michelle put on here. April is typically the hottest month of the year in Costa Rica because it's the end of the dry season. And of course, when the sun hits dry ground, more of its energy can be used to heat the air rather than evaporate water. And as we get into May and June, you get into the period of time when there's a lot of clouds, some scattered showers and thunder showers. The rainy season is typically not as hot. And Guanacaste is in the northwest part of Costa Rica. Costa Rica, by the way, is just to the west of Panama. So if you were traveling from South America to North America, you go through Panama first and then up into Costa Rica. A very nice country. Guanacaste is an area where there isn't as much population. I think they have about 350,000 population in the entire province, and Grand Rapids has about 195,000. So it's almost double the size of Grand Rapids, but spread out over an entire province. And an interesting place to be. It's on the Pacific coast. So if you head on down there, more and more tourists are discovering Costa Rica. So it's interesting. All right, move on to the next one here. Quiz for Bill. What does Costa Rica mean in Spanish? I have four choices: rising coast, rich coast, roller coaster called Ica. No, it is rich coast. And I think we mentioned this, we might have mentioned this yesterday. Rich coast, I do not really speak Spanish, though I know a few words. It's interesting because my kids all speak Spanish and they start talking Spanish. I have no idea what they're saying. They could be making Bill jokes for all I know. So that's interesting. But that is rich coast. I know that answer. So we will show you the answer, and it is rich coast. Legend is that it was named by Christopher Columbus, who thought the land was rich in precious metals. I'm not really familiar with the precious metals they get down there, but there is a town. What is it called? Cartago or something like that. It's south of San Jose, and that is said to have the best climate of any place in the world. Almost, it's up at about 5,000 feet, if I'm not mistaken. And it has many, many days where it's in the 60s at night and the 70s during the day. So you don't need much in the way of air conditioning or heat down there. And that again is a city which is southwest of the capital. All right. Do we have anything else here? Yes, we do. From John Doherty again, up in Benzie County. The other day, I saw a bear. Oh, my goodness. Look at the size of that footprint. My goodness, I thought of a joke, but no, we'll skip that one. But anyhow, we'll show you the end here. I really enjoy doing these, and I enjoy all the people that stay tuned until the end here. Hopefully, the information that we pass along here is interesting to you, and we really appreciate your signing up to subscribe to our videos and our posts that we do. I did a post on the severe weather situation coming up for Thursday here, and we'll be updating that as well. Thank you so much. Have yourself an awesome day, everybody.